शाम के 5 बज चुके हैं और वक्त है फॉलो द ब्लूज लाइव का। और आज हम बात करेंगे एक नहीं दो नहीं तीन इंडियन टीम्स की जो कि फिलहाल खेल रही है। आज इंडिया वर्सेस इंग्लैंड बैज़बॉल का जो है पहला ग्लिम्स हमें दिखा। अंडर 19 की टीम वहाँ पर भी जो है एक ज़बरदस्त शतक, और इंडिया ए भी खेल रही है इंग्लैंड लायंस के खिलाफ, उसके बारे में एक जिक्र करेंगे। लेकिन इस वक्त मेरे साथ है ESPN क्रिक इन्फो के सीनियर करस्पॉन्डेंट नागराज गुलपुड़ी और इंडिया एडिटर फर्स्ट टाइम मेकिंग हिज डेब्यू ऑन फॉलो द ब्लूज जॉर्ज बिनॉय। बोथ ऑफ यू वेलकम टू फॉलो द ब्लूज। सबसे पहले नागराज, आपको तो आदत है बैसबॉल की, आप लंदन में रहते हैं, काफ़ी सारा जो है आपने इंग्लैंड का टेस्ट क्रिकेट देखा है। योर फर्स्ट इंप्रेशंस, किस तरह से जो है बैसबॉल आज खेला? क्योंकि आज कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा लग रहा था एट द एंड ऑफ द डे जैज बॉल यानी कि यशस्वी जायसवाल जो है हावी रहे पूरे बैसबॉल पर। एक नज़र डालते हैं स्कोर कार्ड पर, उसके बाद आप बताएं किस तरह से आपको लगा कि आज का जो है बैसबॉल रहा है। डे 1 जॉनी बेयरस्टो 37, बेन स्टोक्स 70 ऑफ 88, और कहीं ना कहीं जो है बेन स्टोक्स की वो पारी की वजह से जो है इंग्लैंड 246 रन जो है स्कोर कर पाई। अश्विन एंड जडेजा ऑब्वियसली 3 विकेट्स ईच, और उसके बाद हमने ये भी देखा कि जसप्रीत बुमराह ने भी विकेट लिए, अक्षर पटेल ने भी विकेट लिए। नागराज, सबसे पहले योर फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन, डिड जैज बॉल यशस्वी जायसवाल की जो पारी थी कहीं ना कहीं इट ओवर पावर्ड व्हाट बैज बॉल वाज ऑल अबाउट?
Yeah, I think not that baseball is going to go away. It was a welcome sort of, what do you say, a mindset as well as manner of and the method with which England scored the runs compared to especially the 2021 trip when they were here last time, if you remember, under Joe Root that was, when they won the first test, but after that they were completely silenced and they barely managed to kind of score runs, last for long, or they were just stuck in the crease. Today it was more welcome. It was like they kind of played with a little bit more intent, especially in the top order. If you look at it, the openers started well, and then you had Bairstow and Root kind of building together a very healthy partnership. But then again, wickets fall in cluster in India, on especially spin tracks, and against the best spin bowling attack in the world. So I think Bazball started on a positive note. They wouldn't have any complaints as such, especially if you look at it. Stokes also towards the end, he played his role. He kind of he played with the tail, and despite that, despite kind of facing the best bowlers, he kind of managed to take England to a very respectable target. So I don't think England will have complaints as such in terms of if you just stick to Bazball. I'll let George speak maybe on Jazzball.
Obviously, George, if you look at it, the way Jaiswal batted, we were not expecting India to score that many runs so quickly, but probably the situation and the kind of wickets that we are faced against, probably that's what forced Jaiswal. शायद उसी की वजह से जो है इतने जल्दी जो है स्कोर किया भारत ने।
Thanks, Rohan. I think Jaiswal just showed England, this is how we play baseball in India. But no, I think with England bringing a fairly inexperienced attack, the chance was there to put their bowlers under pressure, and that's exactly what Jaiswal did. First ball 4 of Mark Wood, and then first ball of spin hitting Tom Hartley for a 6. He's put an inexperienced attack under a lot of pressure early on, and that was the best way to approach this innings really, because it's one thing to have a pitch that offers spin, but it's another thing entirely to be able to use it properly. And if you put the opposition spinners under pressure, they will not hit the lengths like Ashwin and Akshar did consistently, and that's exactly what Jaiswal did, and Rohit also.
Well said. 119 at the end of day 1 for India in 23 overs. That was a real quick time. लेकिन नागराज, जॉर्ज, अगर हम देखें जिस तरह से सेशन गया है, सबसे पहले सेशन में जो है हमने देखा कि इंग्लैंड के कहीं ना कहीं जो है इंग्लैंड वन द सेशन, लेकिन उसके बाद जो है जो कमबैक किया भारतीय टीम ने, इट वाज अ कमेंडेबल कमबैक. एंड जस्ट लुक एट दिस नाउ, 3.86 and 3.45 Nagraj, that's largely when England were batting, and during the entire duration of this Bazball being brought into play, ये जो आंकड़ा जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं जो है एक कम आंकड़ा है क्योंकि we used to seeing England play at a fast rate. Is it right to say that the Indian spinners somehow paused Bazball today because they started off really well?
Yeah, absolutely. In the sense, it must be said that England's, I think, overall run rate of 3.8 is still higher than what most teams have managed coming to India. So they did manage to score quicker than a lot of other teams. Yes, of course, it's not as fast as they've been playing Bazball in Pakistan and in England and in New Zealand, but they still did manage to score faster than other oppositions. But yes, Ashwin and Akshar and Bumrah were extremely difficult to get away today. They bowled superbly with their lines and lengths. Jadeja actually was quite expensive by his usual standards. But yeah, Ashwin and Akshar definitely put the skids on Bazball.
नागराज, जैसे कि जॉर्ज कह रहे थे कि इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट से ये रन रेट कहीं ना कहीं बेहतर है पिछले कुछ जो पारियां हमने देखी थी टेस्ट इनिंग्स में, और कहीं ना कहीं इसका जिक्र आपने भी किया। और हमने जब देखा कि पिछली बार जब इंग्लैंड यहाँ पर आई थी तो जो स्कोर्स बन रहे थे आफ्टर दैट चेन्नई मैच, द फर्स्ट गेम इन चेन्नई, उसके बाद जो है आज का जो स्कोर रहा है इंग्लैंड टीम का, वो जो है इज बिन द सेकंड बेस्ट. ऑब्वियसली द विकेट्स एंड द कंडीशन ऑफ द फर्स्ट टेस्ट इन चेन्नई इन 2021 वाज कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट. कहीं ना कहीं जो है बैसबॉल काम आया है इंग्लैंड के लिए, क्योंकि ये आंकड़े देखिए, आंकड़े सीधी तरह से बयां करते हैं कि वो जो फर्स्ट इनिंग्स जो हुआ था चेन्नई में 21 के सीरीज में, उसके बाद जो है दिस इज बिन द हाईएस्ट स्कोर फॉर इंग्लैंड. Okay, Nagaraj, we'll try and we'll try and figure out your audio. Lekin George, agree with this kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a good point, Rohan, because see, ultimately when on that Chennai wicket was a more traditional Indian type of pitch before the ball started to spin sharply from day one on subsequent pitches. The thing is, on the sharp turning pitches, you can try and defend and bat 50-60 overs and try and defend, and maybe you'll score 150, 180 runs. So this approach of trying to score as and when opportunities present themselves, creating scoring opportunities, might be more risky, but it brings more runs, because ultimately if you're going to get all out in 40 overs anyway, it's better to score 200 or 240 than it is to score 160. So yeah, I think England will continue to play Bazball. They might, as the series progresses, they might even begin to get better at it in Indian conditions. India will also have to keep finding ways. It's going to be an interesting series.
जॉर्ज, एक और एक बात है कि ऑब्वियसली बैसबॉल जो है कहीं ना कहीं पॉज लगाया, लेकिन द चीफ आर्किटेक्ट्स उसके थे वो इंडियन स्पिनर्स थे, और इंडियन स्पिनर्स में भी अश्विन और जडेजा जो है लीडिंग विकेट टेकर्स एज अ पेयर फॉर इंडिया. ऑन आई मीन 506 विकेट्स करंटली दे हैव टेकन टुगेदर, एंड वी स्टिल हैव द सेकंड इनिंग्स एंड 4 more टेस्ट मैचेस टू गो. लेकिन ये एक सक्सेसफुल जोड़ी रही है अश्विन और जडेजा की, 506 wickets as a pair. So obviously this is something to look forward to, how many wickets this pair is going to take in the next innings and the remaining test matches.
Yeah, they might reach 550 by the time the series ends, Paul, but these 506 wickets have also come at a combined average of something like 21, which is incredible. I was reading before the series that their combined bowling average in a partnership when they play together is better than even the famous pairs of McGrath and Vaughan and Waqar and Wasim and Broad and Anderson. So they've been absolutely invaluable as a match-winning pair in India, and this is their bowling performance. They also average a combined almost 30 runs with a bat in Indian conditions. So as an all-round pair, they've been just outstanding match winners for India at home when they play together.
George, another thing, the fact that you also need a good captain when it comes to these conditions, the kind of field setting is there. आज कहीं ना कहीं starting में ऐसा लगा कि against Bazball, against how England is playing, Rohit had to look at different kind of field settings. जो इन एंड आउट फील्ड सेटिंग्स हम अक्सर देखते हैं. अश्विन जब पहले गेंदबाजी करने आए तो उन्होंने जो है डीप पे विकेट ऑलरेडी फील्डर्स लगाए थे. तो कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक कैप्टनसी और फील्ड प्लेसिंग को लेकर भी बैज़बॉल का इफेक्ट हमें देखने को मिलेगा इस सीरीज में. दैट विल सी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फील्ड सेटिंग्स एंड रोहित द कैप्टन विल हैव टू बी कॉन्स्टेंटली ऑन हिज फीट व्हेन इंग्लैंड इज बैटिंग.
Yes, that will be something to watch out for sure, because England will look to score boundaries. All you need is one ball to get hit through the gap to get those 4 runs per over. So he'll have to be fairly astute with his field placings and his in and out fields. So like for spinners to cut off the sweep and reverse sweep, we might see a deep square leg and a deep point out, to cut off that release shot. It's something that we'll have to watch out for. It's also easy to sometimes get rattled. England might have a good 1 hour where they score at 4-5 and over. It's important not to get rattled by that, because all it takes is for 2-3 wickets to fall in a cluster, and then the game completely turns on its head, like we saw today. After that first hour, we thought, okay, Bazball has begun well in India, but then the moment spin came on, everything began to change. And yeah, they will try and attack. It's about just believing in your bowlers and setting and your plans and cutting off England's strengths.
जॉर्ज, ऑब्वियसली आपने बात कही कि किस तरह से बैसबॉल देखने पे ऐसा लग रहा है. पहले लगा कि माय गॉड इतने तेज़ी से रन बन रहे हैं तो शायद जो है बड़ा स्कोर इंग्लैंड कर लेगी, और उसके बाद तेज़ी से विकेट भी गिर जाते हैं. और सिर्फ ये हम नहीं, जो हम देख रहे थे ऐसा ही नहीं, जो कमेंटेटर्स भी है, केविन पीटरसन जो कमेंट्री कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने भी एक ट्वीट किया था. उन्होंने कहा कि इट्स पॉसिबल दैट वी मे सी 450 फॉर लॉस ऑफ 9 विकेट्स इंग्लैंड एट द एंड ऑफ डे 1, एंड आफ्टर दैट after some time when the cluster of wickets went, he went back again and he tweeted that it could be a 2-day game, and obviously Wasim Jafar came in and he sort of made fun of it. Probably have a look at that particular tweet. Say it's interesting, isn't it? He's asking Dinesh Karthik to translate this one for Kevin Peterson, but that's exactly what you explained in the sense that once Bazball started, once the opener started, we thought probably, okay, this is going to be a long day for India in the field. But then suddenly the Indian spinners came in, and there you go. As Kevin Peterson said, could be a 2-day game. Moving on, actually, from this, we had one more interesting incident which happened, actually, that was discussed amongst the commentators. It was there on social media as well. Nagaraj, I think, has joined us. Nagaraj, if you can hear us, the route LBW, the referral. So
The
obviously it took some time. So it took some time, right, George, for the edge to be shown and the ultra edge to be shown. Your thoughts, Nagaraj, on that, because there's a lot of chatter on social media about it, and obviously the commentators also made a point to come back to it, और उन्होंने भी एक बार फिर से जो है उसे देखा और अपनी राय भी दी. How do you look at Joe Root's LBW referral?
I think I would borrow Shastri's words. What he said was the benefit of doubt goes to Root in this case, and you'll have to just end it there, because I think it took a lot of time, several minutes to load up the thing, and sometimes what happens is the nick shows before the frame syncs with when the bat is close. So it's quite I don't want to get into the specifics of it and confuse the listeners more about it, but in this case, possibly the benefit of doubt probably went to Root, but then the technology in this case was not exactly conclusive, I would say, at the same time.
But Nagaraj, how about blowing up all their reviews in such a short time on day 1?
Yeah, both teams. In fact, I was like so surprised. Both teams were so lackadaisical with their reviews. India shouldn't be spared also. Like two of their reviews, like pitching outside leg, it was pretty evident. They went by one Jadeja, I think, and the other guy, I forgot, was it Ashwin? Yeah, actually. So, and England clearly Stokes is a guy who kind of is a bowler's captain. He showed that today, once against Wood, and the other one was Hartley, wasn't it? But Hartley, you can take that last review. At least that you can understand that because it was pitching in line. But then this I don't know whether you guys have spoken about the pitch. This pitch for me has been really good in the sense like a sporting pitch. There was a lot of talk about India putting out sort of dust bowls, etc. There was barely any sort of dust that I could see any ball today. The entire day, we're talking about the first day of Test cricket in India on a spin pitch. The ball did spin. Indian spinners showed that, and they showed that because, of course, they have experience, but they spun the ball more. There was a chart towards the end where they showed the number of degrees by which each spinner spun the ball, and Ashwin and Jadeja were on top. Akshar was actually the least. Akshar was actually what 3.3 or something compared to Hartley, who was or Leach was it 3.7 degrees. So I think we should also commend the curators, whoever did this job. They kind of kept the contest going. This is going to be. We always knew this is going to be a low scoring, but now if you look at it, I think the surprise was the manner in which India actually came back. I was just reading quickly some comments by Ben Duckett. He said that they were actually surprised by India's counter-attack, that they were not ready for. But this was everyone's talking Bazball, but then what about England's bowlers? Can they take 20 wickets? And going with just one fast bowler on a pitch that might of course will take more and more spin, but also reverse swing might play a role possibly by end of tomorrow. I don't know if that is a question that England would revisit, going with three spinners and not having another seamer when especially Stokes is not bowling.
And you spoke about the degree of turn, और आज ही जो है काफ़ी वेरिएशन हमें देखने को मिला from first session to the second session, and towards the end there were a couple of deliveries which from the left arm spinners which were really turning for England. So obviously जो है कल का दिन एक काफ़ी interesting और important दिन होगा. George, like Ben Duckett said, as Nagaraj mentioned, Ben Duckett mentioned कि जिस तरह से भारतीय टीम ने आके अप्रोच किया, जायसवाल ने तो आके अटैकिंग खेली, रोहित शर्मा ने भी अटैकिंग पारी खेली, लेकिन शुभमन गिल was not attacking as Yashasvi Jaiswal was. So obviously understandable that he's playing a different role. Day 2 approach, how do you see? Do you see Yashasvi continuing to play his game the way it is and Shubman probably dropping the anchor?
Jaiswal, I think, will definitely continue doing what has been working for him. If he sees that the ball is there to be hit, he will go after it. Shubman Gill, we've talked about how he needs to be a little more watchful in Test cricket. Plays a bit too many shots early on. Today, he was actually quite watchful. I'd be happy to see him carry on in this manner. But the thing is, on such surfaces, at some point or the other, you might get a ball that's just too good for you. So you have to cash in on your scoring opportunities when it presents itself. No point being too careful on the surface. Just don't play a rash shot like maybe Rohit Sharma did today. But yeah, I think Jaiswal will continue attacking England.
Nagaraj, quickly from you in terms of day 2, किस तरह से आप देखते हैं, क्या expectations है आपको?
Can India bat out the day? At least 2 more sessions will be interesting. As George was saying, that Jaiswal, you would expect him to play his natural knock. He strikes at his first class strike rate is 65 or something, so he's not going to stop. He's going to carry on. You might see him becoming that. He could play that big kind of a big innings, and then if he gets like say 150 in that first session, India would aim to score 400, around 400, and that's enough, you would think, for a 3-day finish on this kind of a track. I would think. I still feel a 3-day finish is on the cards. It's not far away, because England are now going to change their approach. England are going to come out and kind of attack too and try and take whatever kind of lead they get. They're not going to be afraid of it. So I still feel that 3-day finish is on the cards, except can someone like you guys were talking about Gill, people would think, was he playing like he compared to like what he took he made what 3 runs in about 30 odd balls or 25 balls, 75 odd balls. It took a little time before he hit that first boundary, but I think that's the role he is playing. He's playing that kind of a stabilizing role as opposed to the counter-attacking role that Jaiswal is playing on the other end.
All right, so the Rohit Sharma-led Indian team is trailing by 127 runs. We'll move to under 19, where the first innings has just concluded, and obviously a great knock by Mushir Khan, 118 runs उन्होंने स्कोर किए. उदय सहारन कैप्टन 75 रन की पारी, 301 for 7 in 50 overs. Mushir Khan scoring 100 there. But there was his brother also scoring a great 100 against the England Lions. So great day for both the brothers there. लेकिन under 19 obviously जॉर्ज आपको मैं पूछूंगा, जिस तरह से जो है शुरुआत हुई है भारतीय टीम की, looking strong and obviously a good score to have, 301 for 7 against Ireland.
Yeah, at the halfway stage, we thought India going a little bit slowly against Ireland, and then they've accelerated superbly, in the second half of that innings to score more than 300. But the tournament so far is going as you'd expect. They beat Bangladesh quite comfortably in the first game, and now Ireland, where the innings break, you'd expect India to get the job done today, and then they play USA in their last group game. So. Yeah, it's building towards that Super 6 stage. You expect India to get through to that without too many dramas. There was some talk about whether this Indian under-19 team is as good as previous ones because they didn't win the Asia Cup just before this World Cup. But I think they're hitting their stride now. And yeah, as you say, Mushir Khan, wickets in the first game against Bangladesh, 118 today. It's all coming together. The captain, Uday Sharan, has had 2 good innings so far in the tournament. So, yeah, good signs.
And as we were talking about under 19 game being played, let's speak about someone who started his journey from the under 19s by winning the World Cup for India, and Virat Kohli obviously has now won the ICC ODI Cricketer of the Year award for the 4th time in his career. I mean, that's quite an achievement obviously to win this award for the 4th time in his career. And obviously we have our experts Sanjay Manjrekar and Irfan Pathan talking to us about how big an achievement this is.
तो मुझे तो कोई इसमें सरप्राइज नहीं हुआ कि विराट कोहली का चुनाव हुआ है. इनफैक्ट मैं एंटिसिपेट कर रहा था, मेरा ये प्रेडिक्शन था कि ये वर्ल्ड कप का साल है तो विराट कोहली नंबर 1 बैटर होंगे, क्योंकि एक होता है ना, मास्टरी आ जाती है किसी भी काम के ऊपर. उस तरह से मुझे लगता है विराट कोहली को 50 ओवर्स क्रिकेट पे मास्टरी आ गई है. और इस बार सबसे इंप्रेसिव जो चीज़ थी, पहले बल्लेबाजी करते हुए भी जिस तरह से वो खेले हैं, क्योंकि मास्टर चेसर तो है ही, लेकिन इस वर्ल्ड कप में हमने देखा कि मास्टर टारगेट सेटर भी हो गए थे. और वर्ल्ड कप में जब वो फेल हो गए तो भारत को वो उनका प्रेशर वो फील हो गया. तो या ह्यूज डिपेंडेंसी ऑन विराट कोहली 50 ओवर्स क्रिकेट में. और जैसे मैंने कहा कि मास्टर ऑफ 50 ओवर्स क्रिकेट, और congratulations that he's been selected as the number 1 50 overs batter.
देखिए, विराट कोहली को उनके जो फैंस हैं वो किंग कहते हैं, और सही मायने में ये राजा की तरह खेले ये पूरे साल, कमाल के रन बनाए. लेकिन जब असली वक्त आया था विराट कोहली के लिए वर्ल्ड कप में शाइन होने का, तो पूरी तरह से जिम्मेदारी ली थी बैटिंग की. रनों के अंबार लगा दिए पूरे साल, लेकिन वर्ल्ड कप बहुत स्पेशल था. शतक के मामले में भी सबसे आगे निकल गए. मैंने कहा था कि कंधे से कंधा मिला के जिस खिलाड़ी के साथ आज खड़ा है, उसी को कंधे पे उठाया था महान सचिन तेंदुलकर को. तो उस लिहाज से विराट कोहली का बहुत स्पेशल साल रहा है. और मैच विनिंग पारियां खेली है, खास करके वनडे क्रिकेट में जिस तरह से साल रहा है, थरली डिजर्व करते हैं. और उम्मीद यही रहेगी कि आने वाले कुछ और सालों में भी अपना ये परफॉर्मेंस है विराट कोहली बरकरार रहे.
Well, apart from Virat Kohli, Rachin Ravindran, Usman Khwaja have also won awards. और इसके बारे में अगर आपको पूरी जानकारी चाहिए तो tune into the Star Sports Network and catch on with the other award winners. लेकिन before we go, very quickly from you, Nagraj and George, कि कल इंडिया का स्कोर क्या होगा? A quick prediction.
I think India
400 types.
400.
No.
All right. Brilliant.
Yeah. I think about
George.
350. I think, yeah, between
All right, 350, 400.
350. Yeah.
Alright, perfect. And जायसवाल obviously आज जो है जैज बॉल कहना एकदम उचित रहेगा, considering that he has been the story of the day so far. How will he progress and what will be his score? It will be interesting to see. But thank you very much नागराज, thank you George, हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए. हम आपसे फिर मिलेंगे कल 5 बजे शाम को.